girls and boys. Today we're going to read a book called Jamaica's Blue Marker. It was written by Juanita Havill, and illustrations were done by Sibley O'Brien. So Anne drew all the pictures. Juanita wrote all the words. Let's read Jamaica's Blue Marker and find out what we know about Jamaica. She's our main character, the person most important in the story. Jamaica's Blue Marker. Jamaica closed her eyes and thought about her picture. Mrs. Worth always said to think first, then draw. That sounds familiar. We touch the paper. We think about the story. We say our story to the paper before we draw. Jamaica opened her eyes and drew a tree on her big sheet of paper. Then she drew leaves falling off of the tree and colored them yellow. Jamaica, Mrs. Worth said, could you please share your markers with Russell? He doesn't have any. He never has anything he needs, Jamaica thought. But she said, okay, even though she didn't want to share her markers with him. Russell brought his paper to Jamaica's table. He sat down beside her and grabbed her blue marker. Jamaica picked up her brown and orange markers to finish her picture. She didn't pay any attention to Russell. After a while, she peeked at his paper. Russell was making squiggly circles all over his page. We're supposed to draw a fall picture, Russell, Jamaica said. Who says? Mrs. Worth. Don't you ever listen? I don't have to. Russell reached out with the blue marker and he made a streak across Jamaica's picture. Russell, stop! Jamaica shouted. But Russell scribbled all over Jamaica's yellow-leafed tree. So we're going to stop here for just a minute and we're going to think about what we know about Jamaica so far. What do we know about Jamaica? She's a girl. She's following directions. She wants to do her best. But let's think about how we know she feels. How does she feel about Russell? She doesn't seem to want to share her markers with him. She didn't want to, but she said okay, because Mrs. Worth had asked her to. She thought he never has anything he needs. She saw that he wasn't doing his best, and she tried to tell him what they were supposed to be doing. So how does Jamaica feel about Russell? Let's find out if her feelings change or if she learns any type of lessons. Remember, we'll have to pay careful attention to our characters and everything else in the book. We already know the setting. What is it? Yes, they're at school. So let's find out what the problem is, how her feelings change, and if she learns any lessons. Mrs. Worth, Jamaica cried, Russell wrecked my picture. Mrs. Worth hurried over to their table. Russell, did you do this? She held up Jamaica's picture. Mrs. Worth couldn't get Russell to say, I'm sorry. So he had to go sit alone and work on spelling until art was over. Sometimes when we can't get along with other kids, we have to sit alone. Look what Russell did, Jamaica showed her father and brother when she got home. I tried, but I couldn't make another one as good as this. And when she looked at the ugly blue squiggles, she had to swallow hard not to cry. Russell is a mean brat. Did you tell Mrs. Worth what happened? Her father asked. Jamaica nodded. Russell can't use my markers again. I shared with him because he didn't have any. He never has what he's supposed to have, but that's no reason to be mean. No, her father said. Russell shouldn't have messed up your picture. And her father's right. Russell should not have done that to Jamaica's paper. We should never destroy somebody else's work. We had a setting change too. Where are they now? Yes, they're at home. Is Jamaica talking to her father about what happened at school today? Yes, we should always talk to our family about what's going on in our life at school. The next time that they had art, Jamaica was glad Russell didn't sit at her table, but then he couldn't bother her anymore, and she didn't have to share her markers with him either. But at recess, Russell threw sand at her and chased 2 second-grade girls, so he had to go to the office. Before he came back, Mrs. Worth said, I would like to tell you something. Can you keep a secret? Yes! Jamaica shouted with her classmates. We are going to have a going-away party for Russell on Friday. His father has a new job in another town. They will be moving over the weekend. I thought that you might like to make cards to say goodbye. Then Russell will have something to remember us by. So is there something going on in Russell's life? Yes, he's moving. Mrs. Worth passed out paper. Then she showed everyone how to fold the paper into a card. Jamaica didn't want to make a card for Russell. She was glad he was moving. Then he wouldn't be able to bother her anymore. She put the paper in her desk. At supper, Jamaica said, I like living here. I like my house and my room and the tree in the front yard. I like my school too. I'm glad you do, her mother said. I wouldn't like to move. Who said anything about moving? Ossie asked. That's her brother. Russell is moving, Jamaica said. Lucky you. He won't mess up your pictures anymore, Ossie said. I wonder how Russell feels about moving, Dad said. He might be upset. Has he talked about it? Russell doesn't say anything. He just gets in trouble, Jamaica said. If we don't talk about our feelings, sometimes we make choices that aren't great, and those choices can get us in trouble. Maybe some of us need to share our feelings and talk to our teachers and think about how our actions make them feel so that we can all make good choices. I wonder if Jamaica's really thinking about how Russell feels. That's what her dad wants to know. Russell didn't come to the classroom on Friday morning. He was with his mother in the office. Jamaica looked at his empty desk. Next week, Russell would be gone. He wouldn't be at his desk ever again. So she decided to make a card for Russell. She got out the blank card and her markers too. But just then, Mrs. Worth asked, Who are my helpers this week? Jamaica raised her hand. Jamaica, could you collect the cards and put them in Russell's desk? Brianna and Thomas, I'd like for you to clear the activity table for the plates and cups. Jamaica went from desk to desk to pick up the cards. She put the whole stack in Russell's desk, and as she closed his desk, Russell came in with his mother. The party started. They played games for a while and ate cake. Russell opened his desk and took out all the cards. Look, Mom, everybody made a card for me. Not everybody, Jamaica thought. She took the blue marker out of her marker bag. Then she ran up to Russell. This is for you, Russell. She handed him the marker. You can use it at your new school. Why do you think that Jamaica did that? Because Russell never has what he needs at school, so she's giving him something that she knew that he had needed to borrow from her. Maybe she feels bad that she didn't make him a card. Maybe she feels sorry for him that he has to move. Have her feelings towards Russell changed? But you might need this blue marker, he said. You like to draw. You draw the best pictures in the class. What if you have to color the sky? Someone will share with me. Thanks, he said. You're lucky. You get to stay here. Now Jamaica knew how Russell felt about moving. I wish you didn't have to move, she said. So even though Russell is always getting in trouble, and even though Russell has bothered her at school and ruined some of her things, Jamaica wishes that he could stay. I'm sure she still wishes that he hadn't made those choices, but she still likes him and knows that he's important. When Jamaica waved goodbye to Russell, she noticed that his mother was carrying his goodbye cards. Russell held up the blue marker and waved it at her, as if he'd won a prize. "Goodbye, Russell. I'll miss you," Jamaica said, and she meant it. What was the problem in this book? Did it get solved? Jamaica changed in this book. Do you think that Russell did too? We're going to read other books about Jamaica as well. We want to remember everything that we learned about Jamaica from this book to help us understand more about the next books. Thanks for reading with me.